Today, we're going to talk about how you can get your first clients and how I did that and which first steps you take to get that or to accomplish that. Because maybe you've started your business and you are so determined to make it a success, but now you're like, yes, I want to help people. And now you don't know how to actually get them to pay you so you can help them. So I'm just going to walk you through a couple of maybe really obvious steps that you can use to get your first clients. Because it's one thing to have an idea, it's a whole other thing to have people actually pay you to come and help them out. So this episode is especially dedicated to my service-based business friends. I am you, I feel you. Let's dive into it. Hello, and welcome to Play to Win, the show where we turn your passion into profit so you can live life on your own terms. I'm Amy van de Putten from FastForwardAmy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode with simple strategies every Tuesday. When you start your podcast, it's awkward because you don't know how to podcast. When you grow your podcast, it's awkward because you have a team of people in the room who are staring at you like you're a fucking lunatic. Actually, you don't have to record with a team, but the reason we would do it like this is because I cannot be trusted to upload the episodes if I do it by myself or to record them. However much I love podcasting, I just think that it's so difficult to stay disciplined. In the past 3.5 years, I've never missed a single Tuesday. But back when I first started, I would always be recording on the Monday afternoon and writing the email on a Tuesday at 7 a.m. So actually, really starting to work with a team in the past couple of years has really helped me to improve my discipline. You wouldn't say. They're probably amazed as I'm saying this. But let's get to the topic of this actual episode. Step number 1, actually 0, is what do you want to accomplish? So often people start their business and they're like, yes, and this is something I'm making and I want to create a PDF and then an ebook and maybe an audio video. And then, I want this office where I see people and la la la. And I don't really care about any of that. I just need to know, what do you want to accomplish by working with people? Back when I started as a personal trainer, my why I was starting was that I had always struggled to lose weight and to be strong because I used to be sick as a kid for a really long time and I was used to feeling really, really weak. Over the years, I had started strength training and I felt so good being strong. I got this feeling that when I walked into a room, I was the strongest person or the strongest woman in that room. And I saw people in my environment struggling and I thought to myself, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I could help them to lose the weight, but also build the muscle if they've been struggling with this in unhealthy ways. So that was why I started. So when I looked at my offer or what I wanted to accomplish, which is literally the baseline or step 0 in this episode, it was very clear to me. I just wanted to help people to get stronger, get more fit and more lean. So it didn't really matter that I said I'm going to offer one-on-one coaching per hour or I'm going to offer packages of 3 hours. That wasn't the point of things. When I was in a conversation with people, this was what I was talking about. Like, yeah, I want to help people realize that they can achieve anything they want. So for me, it wasn't about working by the hour or clients asking me questions that were or weren't included in a package. At a certain point, I found myself going to the store to buy equipment for my clients' home gyms because I figured that if they were training 2 times a week with me, but they would train by themselves 2 times a week, it would be really great if they had some equipment. Now, I had a really small margin on the equipment I bought and then sold to them. But it wasn't even about the margin. It was just about helping them to accomplish their goals. So that is step 0. What do you want to accomplish with people? What is the drive behind what you do? What is it that you're doing? Is it that you want to help people get more clients? Is it that you want them to grow their social? Is it that you want to help them get more fit? This is something that you need to be able to say. And ditch the whole mission, vision, complicated stuff. Just tell me why you started. This is kind of like a little semi-coaching episode. And my team is still looking at me and it is freaking me the fuck out. They're trying to hide. So we have this rule when I'm in recordings, they can't type because the typing is so loud. So then my content strategist, who's substituting our copywriter today, Amber is all the way in the back corner. She's on her phone, but it makes it seem to me that she's very much not interested in what I'm saying. But I know she's actually taking notes of everything I'm saying on her phone because that doesn't make any noise. Okay, I'm making a lot of noise, so there's that. Okay. So, okay, you know what you want to accomplish with people. You kind of know what you're selling, which is important because often people are like, I started a business, and I'm like, what are you selling? They're like, oh, I don't have any prices or packages yet. You do need to have a starting point. Okay, so step one, you have something you can offer to people, but you don't have any clients. Where do you start? Well, you start in your environment, and that doesn't mean cold pitching your best friends, but maybe your not so immediate environment. So again, back when I started out as a personal trainer, first I coached a couple of people for free. And the people I coached for free got me social proof, which is actually one of our other steps. And they had such amazing results that they told other people about it. And then those people who heard about it would come to me to ask me about how I did that. And in today's day and age, doing something for free is frowned upon because we should all set our prices high. We need to charge our worth and then add tax. And I do agree with that. But if you are anything like me, you're just starting out and you don't have that much experience yet, and you literally don't have a network yet or a business, it could really help to start by gathering some social proof and some confidence by actually helping people out for free and asking them for a few testimonials in return. So I'm going to skip what I just said. Step one is gather social proof by providing value to people and helping them out for free. If you're an online coach, this could be that you are doing 5 free calls to help people solve one specific problem, and you ask them for a review afterwards. Don't do this until the end of times, but do... what do I want to say with this? Don't feel too good to do this. I definitely did this. I coached people for free for months before I got them results, and it was probably one of the best investments I ever made. And then I used them as proof that it was possible, and other people became my clients. So gather social proof, either by helping people for free and getting testimonials and reviews, or gather social proof by actually highlighting potential cases. So you could use yourself as proof and be like, hey, this is my story of how I did that. You are your own biggest review, kind of. It could also be that you, if you have a degree in what you are offering people, you could really highlight the degree. Stuff like that is gonna help you to make it clear what you can do. On the other hand, maybe you are a marketing coach who has just gone from their full-time job to being an independent consultant. You could then highlight some accomplishments from your previous job. So all of this is kind of like proof as to your authority and that you're good at what you do. So even if you haven't had any clients yet, look at wherever you can get some social proof for yourself. That is step one, but everything kind of coincides. So basically these are more like 5 tips maybe. The next tip is that you start in your own environment. So for me, it wasn't that I was coaching my brothers. That would have been annoying. I have 3 of them, didn't coach them. But I did coach my dad actually for free. I used to get him out of bed every day at 7 a.m. and force him to work out. I learned a lot from those 2 months of forcing him to do stuff. This is a long time ago. I don't know if he even remembers that actually. But I learned a lot from that on how to coach more high-profile clients. And then I had, for example, my old babysitter who contacted me, who heard from my mom what I was doing, and they hired me. The couple hired me, and then I would go to their house and talk to them about their eating habits, and it was less working out and more like just habits. So the thing was, I was driven by what I wanted to help people accomplish, not so much by the rigid structure of what I was offering. And I think that is one of the best tips you can ever get in sales is be flexible in your sales. You might be afraid now because you're like, no, but I heard online that I need to offer one core thing and it needs to be like this and this and this. Yes, but when you are starting out, you don't have people yet, so you actually aren't in the place to put those demands on it yet, and it's actually never a good position to make it all about you. You should always look at how can you accommodate clients. I just got an email from someone who bought one of my courses, and she said, hey, I'm looking for this. I don't know if I'm in the right course. And I told her like, hey, thanks for your honest feedback. Could you highlight a little bit more what you're looking for exactly? I also have other courses. It could be that you're looking for something from a different course, or that we need to create an extra resource for you. Always be flexible towards your clients and help them with what they actually need instead of what you desperately want to give them. So First, we talked about gathering social proof, about getting new clients, and then we talked about starting close in your environment. And the way you're going to do that is you are going to talk about what you do everywhere. We're going to add a third tip to that, is you're going to be wildly enthusiastic. I would be posting on Facebook about this. I didn't have a website. I didn't overcomplicate things. I didn't have a newsletter. I would just be talking about it all the time. I got so obsessed with what I was doing. So I would run into a friend from high school and I would tell them, I'm doing this and I'm so passionate about this and I just helped someone accomplish this. And then they're like, oh, but my mom was looking for someone to help them out. Can I give you her number? Just by simply talking about it and talking about the results and talking about what your own journey is going to help people get to the point that they're like, oh, I might be interested as well, or I know someone who's interested. So your goal is not necessarily to sell to your own environment. Your goal is to get your environment in the know so they can recommend you to other people. That's the way you should look at it, because too often people think they need their best friends as customers. Hell no. I would actually advise against that, because it's always going to be difficult. You're always going to want to over deliver. They're not going to want to pay everything maybe. So I would more use them as ambassadors than I would use them as your first clients, actually. Okay, so we talked about gathering social proof, starting in your close environment, and being enthusiastic. So the enthusiasm part is wildly underestimated, because sometimes people are like, oh, I looked online and I need the perfect website and the perfect newsletter and the perfect offer and the perfect pricing and the perfect photos, and let me go and design a logo or get a logo design and pay 500 euros for it, and oh, the headshots and this and that. Most of those things cost a lot of time and money. The thing that doesn't cost any time or money is just being so obsessed and enthusiastic about what you have to offer. And I have this to this day and age with my courses. Is last night I went to dinner and I told my parents about my course about money that I'm hosting. It's called the Bold Money Makeover. If you want information about it, you can find it on my web shop. The thing is, I had just hosted a session. Actually, I hosted that today before these recordings. And I created this money compass with my clients. And I've noticed that 95% of my clients actually overspend. So they need to kind of like rein in their spending, and they need to focus on how they can make more money. Maybe you know this feeling, right? You want to be abundant, so you want to spend money, but you also don't want to go into scarcity by restricting yourself and saving too much money. So what I did with my clients is, it's really cool. I have this piece of paper and they fill it out. And at the bottom, they write down their why. Why do they want to work on their financial habits? And at the top, they're writing down their really big financial targets, like buying a house or going for their full-time occupation as being self-employed. But then people often struggle with making the decisions. So the values, their personal values, actually come into play in their finances. And on the money compass, you write this on the left-hand side and you actually prioritize your values. And those values are going to help people to decide in their spending habits. By this point, you should be kind of interested in that product. I have not been selling this product to you. I've just been talking about it like I talked to my parents about it, super enthusiastically. Now you're like, wow, this Money Compass sounds really great. That program must be really great. At no point here was I selling it to you. I'm just talking about it like I talk about it to my parents. Like I show my boyfriend, like, hey, look what I made in my program. And then with my best friend, she's talking about something. I'm like, oh, for your boyfriend. Oh, this reminds me of something I did in my course. So being genuinely so enthusiastic about what you are making is what you need. It's going to get you like 80% of your sales if you allow yourself to. When I make a story on Monday to promote my podcast, because I'm so excited about it, I can even just not talk about the content of the podcast, but just be excited about the podcast, and I will see my downloads go up. Your enthusiasm is basically your best sales sauce. And it doesn't mean that you need to be pushing it like, buy this now, buy this now, buy this now. No, you're just talking about why you love it and why other people are loving it. And you will see that when you love it, you can help other people fall in love with what you do as well. And then they're going to buy from you. Because if you don't love it, why would other people love it? Dear Lord, when I'm talking about it like this, I'm like, why don't people post more about what they're doing? And this is actually the spotlight effect. And this is my next tip. It's that you think about what you're doing a whole lot. And you think, it is so fucking clear. Like me with my money program. I'm like, everyone knows I'm doing this, right? But the truth is, I don't think my brothers know I have a money program. They watch my stories sometimes, but I haven't posted in my group WhatsApp of my family that I'm so excited about my new money program because I'm so busy with it. At a certain point, I assume I don't need to tell people anymore because I posted about it once. You know, I launched it, so people should know, right? But there are still so many people in my environment who don't know about this. So whether it is you getting your first clients or me getting my next clients, I should make sure that my brothers who could kind of be my biggest ambassadors definitely know what's up. And it's not annoying if I tell them about my super fabulous program. I should just tell them. And I should post about it. We need to keep talking about what we're offering. And so the spotlight effect means that people need to hear something 8 to 10 times before they're actually really aware of it. And the highlight effect is that now, how do I explain this correctly? So the spotlight effect is we're so much in our brain that we don't realize we haven't posted about it as much as we think we did. But people need to know about it and they need to see it like 8 to 10 times. Just think of the Barbie movie and how many things you've seen passing by from the Barbie movie. Probably you've seen like at least 50 touch points with that launch. By this point, I'm like, hey, I want to go and watch that movie. And I've seen it come by on my socials like 50 times. So when you are very enthusiastic about something, you're like, yeah, I did this super big post about what I'm launching and what I have to offer to people. Did you do it just once? Because that's not enough. So I like to counter the spotlight effect with the highlight effect, like talk about it at least 8 to 10 times so people really, really, really know what's up. And I get it. It is so scary to post something and then to have like crickets and no one immediately buys. No one immediately says, hey, you posted about something one time and I saw it just once with half an eye. I'm going to buy this. No, people don't do that. And you also don't do that. You also didn't see one podcast and you're like, yes, I'm going to binge the entire podcast. For example, for me, I remind people about my podcast every single week. And sometimes, it might take people 2 years to start listening to the podcast for the first time. Or when they fall off the wagon, I have to remind them to go and listen again. When you buy something, maybe you filled your cart twice before you actually got around to buying it. Or maybe you actually never bought it, but if they would have kept sending you reminders, maybe you would have. Does this mean you need to be super annoying when you're reminding people and following up? Not necessarily. I think especially in Belgium and in the rest of Europe, we have a little bit of a less of a pushy culture than in the US. Don't hate me that I said that, but I get creeped the fuck out if someone calls me all of a sudden because I signed up for something on their email list and I'm like, why are you calling me? This is so creepy. So that's not the way I'm going to follow up with my clients. The way I like to follow up is by posting an obnoxious amount of stories during my launch. Whenever anyone buys in a launch, I will post a post-it. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Anytime I post a post-it of someone who bought, more people buy. I've said it before, like we can throw out all of our marketing strategy. We can stop sending emails. We can stop letting in posts on our feed. As long as we keep posting post-its on the wall, people are going to keep buying our product. It's because they get reminded of the fact that the product is there. There is social proof that other people are buying it. And there is so much enthusiasm. So I'm already hitting a couple of the really big targets in what we need to get clients. So the highlight effect means don't just say, hello, the doors have opened, I have a program. That was all about you. No one cares that doors are open. You got to say, you can transform your fitness as of today. Get started right now. Do 5 push-ups. Not necessarily like that, but... And then the next day you say it again, like haven't started yet, feeling foggy because you're not moving and your activity score on your Oura ring is shit. Oh no, wait, that's me today. I've been sitting too much. Let's get moving. I'm going to offer you my 10-day get moving package. Woo, get moving while you're working at a desk. Amazing, I need this. Oh, but I don't have my credit card. Oh, not checking out. The next day, again, you are there reminding that person who didn't have their purse with them. What happens is you are not posting because you're assuming people don't want to buy. Truth is, you got to get people to the point that they want to buy. And the reason you're not posting is because you are communicating to the people who don't want to buy. But you gotta communicate to the people who want to buy, but just haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm gonna repeat that. Amber is already like, what the fuck? How are we gonna write this article? I see it all. I need to put her behind the screen so I don't see her. I will help you with the layout after the episode. So what happens is, when we post for the first time, when we open the launch, whenever I open a launch, honestly, the first couple of minutes, I feel like I want to die. I'm like, oh, I suck. Oh, my self-worth is attached to this launch when no one buys. I'm a terrible human being. I am getting mindset coached on this. It has gotten better. I actually have a full course on launching. This is what used to happen to me. I don't have it as much anymore, also because I just make sure people buy from the get-go, so I don't have to have these feelings. But it's really scary when you put your heart and soul into a new product and you've been building on it with like blood, sweat, tears. You haven't had 16 weeks because you've been so stressed out. And then you're like, yes, it is here. And then no one buys. And then you're like, did I not do it well? Does no one like what I made? Do people hate me? No one wants to buy this. Okay, better not talk about it too much, lest you force people to buy who don't want to buy. No, that's just weird. So what happens is there's this tiny glitch in your brain that says, shouldn't post about it too much because I don't want to force anyone to buy. But you can't force people to buy. So if you're posting about it a lot, people could say, hey, I'm going to not read what you wrote, or I'm going to unfollow you, but you're never going to force anyone to buy. And what happens there is we start thinking about all the people who aren't interested. But what you need to remember when you're posting about something, you're getting out there with your business, is there are people out there who really need what you have to offer. And when you are not posting about it, you are denying them the option to take action. You are denying them the option to take action with this. So I was talking to my parents last night. As I already said, I'm super close with my parents. Hey, mom and dad, I know you never listen to my podcast, but here's a shout out. And my parents have this really cute idea. No one knows about this. I'm going to put it out there. Who knows what happens? My parents want to write a book on the education of children. A book or like a 6-part podcast series, but my dad is, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this. Well, whatever, this is a market research test. So they would love to talk about that, maybe together, make a series of 6 episodes on my dad's podcast, or maybe write a book. My mom is really great at writing. And my mom was like, yeah, but what will people say? And people are going to have so much to say about this, or are going to disagree with things. And I told them, like, but maybe you should stop thinking about the people who might disagree, but how many people have bought books on books on books and are struggling with how to raise their kids? How many people need your advice? And by not writing the book, you're not giving them the option to do something with it. So you are denying them that action. So when you are not selling your service, let's say you are a highly sensitive coach, like a coach for people who struggle with being highly sensitive. And you are a little bit afraid to be too pushy. So you post it once, no one really replied. You're like, I'm going to make myself smaller. I'm going to not talk too much about these. You're basically saying, hey, I could be helping 100 people with their highly sensitive sensations if I would post more about this, but I'm not going to do it. So because of your ego, you're not helping 100 people. That's a really crappy move. So you're not doing anyone a service by not posting about what you have to offer. You're only just keeping yourself smaller. So this is my invitation to you. When you have something to offer to the world, when you have a really great business set up and you really want to help people move forward, take that next step, you owe it to the world to sell. Your sales are a service. I had this week, I was like, I have something I want to sell this week. And I'm like, when am I going to post about it? When am I going to offer it? Maybe tomorrow. And as I'm saying this, I'm like, tomorrow I need to post about this and I need to make a video about this with so much enthusiasm because my course can change someone's life. And this needs to be your selling mindset. This needs to be what happens when you go out to an event. People ask you what you do. You're like, I change people's lives. This needs to be the mindset. Doesn't matter with what exactly, but you need to be there like, I am a life changer. I changed the world. And just the fact that people pay you is just an exchange of energy. And also the fact that they will take action. Like my biggest flagship program is the Business Freedom Elevator. If I would offer it for free, no one would attend my classes. So they need to pay me for it so that they actually take action. This is also, by the way, why you shouldn't offer big discounts or like sales at €0 to your friends, because they won't take action. What you could do, by the way, if you don't really know what to do with your friends who are asking you if they can get a discount, a weird suggestion is that you tell them, I want to do this for you. I just need your commitment that you're actually going to follow along. You can get this for free if you actually do it. What I have done in the past, and not a lot of people respond to this, and then you know what needs to happen is pay me the amount right now. And if you follow the 8-week course, I'll deposit it back. If they won't pay you the amount, which you're just putting in safekeeping, then they weren't planning on following through. And then I wouldn't put your resources into helping them, because then they're not going to do it. At this point, Annelies is smiling at me. Good idea, right? So you're saying you don't have to pay. You just do have to put the deposit to my account, and I'll safeguard it for you, and I'll give it back once you've finished it. Almost no one will do it. Then you shouldn't be spending time on it. So the highlight effect. Damn, you are your brand's best ambassador, and you're doing the world such a disservice by only posting about it once and then hiding from what you have to offer. And last but not least, I quickly touched on it just now, is actually networking. So tonight I'm going to an event. I am not what you would call a super extroverted person. Thing is, I am social, but I don't like going to networking events. I do like it when I'm there. I just don't like the prospect of having to go. But I'm going to an event tonight actually to support a friend. And then I thought, you know what? It's actually also good that I show my face. And it does usually give me more business, because once I've met people in real life, they trust me more and they tend to buy more or connect me with other people. So your network is your net worth, is what they say. It is true. I just have a tiny unpopular opinion about this. Is I really hate it when people network, but actually their service is shit. And I don't think that's a foolproof long-term strategy. So I didn't network a whole lot in the beginning of my business. And then at a certain point, I was at an event and people were like, who are you and what do you do? And I'm like, oh, my business is thriving and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, how is that possible? We've never seen you at an event. And I was like, well, it's because I was busy working on my actual business and giving a great service to clients. So what I just want to say, networking is super important. Make sure that you connect with people, that you collab with people, all of that. But do make sure that you're not putting that or vanity metrics or like vanity networking maybe over the fact that your business needs to have a solid foundation, that your clients need to be happy. Don't go networking while your clients are waiting for a response in the beginning of your business is what I'm saying. Also, always make sure that your clients get a response. Did I nail it? Did I do that well? Yeah. Amber is not looking at me anymore. She's... Oh, yeah. So to recap, show the love. There's this quote I saw once, and it's such an epic quote. It was on Discovery Channel, National Geographic. I can never keep those two apart. I think it was Discovery Channel. Undercover Billionaire was a show with Grant Cardone, who I absolutely adore. Such a crazy energetic person. His book 10X, by the way, is a good recommendation. If you need some energy and you can handle the American style of someone basically yelling at you in the morning, if you listen to his book, I highly recommend it. You get so pumped. Maybe tomorrow I'm going to wake up, I'm just going to turn it on. Maybe even if you work out, you can just put like 10X, the audiobook. But in a TV show, I lost the woman's name. I think her name was Kristen. I don't know. One of the people in the show, at a certain point, she opens a bodega and she's telling her crew, she's saying, once we open, remember, show, don't sell. Show, don't sell. And I love that so much. To this day, this is something I repeat every day, like show, don't tell. For me, that means walking the talk, showing what we want to do for people, making sure that what we already do is such proof of what we're offering, but also show, don't sell is what I just did. Is like, I love my Bold Money Makeover program and I can talk about it for days. And that doesn't mean I need to be selling. I just need to be talking about it. So just start talking. And if you don't want to talk about it, then you need to revisit what you're offering because you might not be loving it as much. Pro tip, by the way, if you're selling something that you've made a while back, make sure you fall in love with it again because it can be a little bit of a challenge to sell something over and over again because you aren't in the creation process anymore. What I do then when for example, I sell my flagship program again and it's been a while since I made the slide deck, I sit down and I go through it. And then every time I'm like, wow, this program is so amazing. I can't believe this. Or I go through my happy folder with all of my reviews and I'm like, wow, this is such an amazing program. I need to go out there and sell it to people. Selling is an act of service. This is what you need to know if you want to get your first clients. Didn't say anything about pricing. Didn't say anything about the 5-step process for a sales conversation. You just need to be enthusiastic AF. If you loved this episode, I have even better news for you. Oh, by the way, this was an episode of the Play to Win podcast. I recently changed the name of my podcast. I'm so happy with it. If you liked it, feel free to leave me a review or a couple of stars on Apple Podcasts. And you know what? I'm going to give you a little assignment. What do you take away from this episode? What is the one thing that you're like, yes, this is what I take away from this episode? Let me know. For me, I think it's talking enthusiastically about what I do. Yeah, show, don't sell, definitely. And if you want to learn more about how you can turn your passion into a profitable business, and maybe you're at the point where you're like, Amy, I've been at this for years, but I'm not, profitable. Or you have a lot of passion, but you just don't know how to get over that hump and actually get started, then my free business summer school might be just the thing you need. I'm hosting it the entire month of August. It is in Dutch, and the link is fastforwardamy.com/bus to sign up. I've linked it in the description. And if you're one of my 5 English-speaking listeners, I actually have a bunch of other resources for you that are really good as well. But we were talking about launching earlier on, so maybe that is a direction I want to lead you to. So maybe you listen to this, you're like, yes, this is great, but I'm planning on launching an online course or an online product, and I just don't know how to put that new offer out there into the world. I actually have a 5-step blueprint that you can follow along with, where I really explain to you what the 5 phases are that you need to go through. And I use those exact 5 phases for my own launches as well. And the link to that free training for you is fastforwardamy.com/launch webinar. And I'll link that in the description as well. So if you're Dutch speaking, come and join the business summer school. And if you're English speaking, come and watch my launch webinar. I promise you're going to love it. Have a happy day and let's get talking. My voice might be a bit raspy in this episode because earlier this week I was standing in my garden yelling. Kind of fucked up my voice when I did that. Oops. I'm just gonna keep rolling. Annelies, this is fine. We can keep this in the recording.